First Missouri Bank, 455 Sandbar Drive in Kearney. The phone number is 816-903-9010. First Missouri Bank. We're passionate about helping people create a brighter financial future in the communities we call home. Member FDIC.
Good evening and welcome to the KMO Newsroom for your weekly news recap. I'm Jim Dickerson. We begin tonight in Clay County, where the Clay County Public Health Center issued a statement that said it is unable to support the CDC's revised guidance that provides shorter quarantine options. The CDC described how quarantine can be ended on day 7 after exposure. It states that quarantine can end after day 7 if a diagnostic specimen tests negative and if no symptoms were reported during daily monitoring. The Clay County Public Health Center stated in an announcement that it does not support this option at this time due to not having sufficient testing capacity available. Many have noted that this directly contradicts the health center's own posts on its own Facebook page listing a host of daily free testing locations around the county. Residents in Clay County are looking forward to change in county government leading into 2021 as newly elected commissioners, sheriff, and other positions will be beginning their respective terms. Citizens are already looking further down the road toward filling the seats of an expanded 7-member county commission under the newly adopted Clay County Constitution. Mike Davis joins us from the KMO Newsroom to give us details on one person who has already thrown their hat into the ring.
Community activist Jason Whittington announced his intention to run for one of the 2 newly created at-large seats in the Clay County Commission in 2022. Whittington, who made the announcement via social media on Saturday, December 6th, has already received several responses of support. Whittington states that he will make public safety a top priority if he's elected and will also work to rebuild county infrastructure and raise quality of life for Clay County citizens. He'd like to work on delivering internet access to rural Clay County and open up riverfront areas for recreational use. Whittington is a lifelong Clay County resident. He graduated from Winnetonka High School and earned his bachelor's degree in public administration from Park University. For KMO-TV News, I'm Mike Davis.
New James family historic artifacts have surfaced and were donated to the Kearney Historic Museum. Brian Watts is at the museum and he files this report.
The Kearney Historic Museum is excited to announce a new donation of unique items relating to the Frank James family history. The items were donated in October by Pat Munkers. Museum Director Jerry Spencer is thrilled to have the new pieces in the museum, and she's happy to share the history of them with the visitors.
We are so thankful to people like Pat and Jim Munkers that think of the museum, and instead of throwing those amazing artifacts away, bring them our way. They do. They fill in a lot of those blank spots in our history that we don't always know about.
Items included in the Munkers donation include a recorded radio interview with Robert James and original pictures of him at the farm, a last will and testament and list of family property when May James died in 1974, a pair of spats owned by Frank James and a pair of fans belonging to Annie James, and the receipt for the materials to build the 1930s addition onto the original James cabin. The radio interview was recorded on 2 records on July 3, 1947, and on the recording, Robert James describes growing up in the area and what it was like for him to be the son of Frank James. Robert also corrects a misconception about the death of his grandfather, Reverend Robert Sally James.
We always said out at the James farm that Reverend James passed on while he was out in California at the gold fields preaching to the miners. He passed on from cholera. I will say that his grandson says, no, he passed on of food poisoning.
The receipt of building materials for the new addition to the cabin is a very exciting discovery to the James history. Historians always knew the addition was built in the 1930s, but this item finally gives them an exact date.
Having worked out there for almost 30 years, we just always said this was added in the 1930s. But now we know for sure, 1938. Bam, here it is. So this is very exciting news.
The receipt is from Major Lumber Company in Kearney, dated October 25, 1938. The total cost of the addition was $300.35. For more information about these items, contact the Kearney Historic Museum at 816-903-1856. The museum is open to the public on Fridays and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and visitors may tour the museum free or make a donation. From the Kearney Historic Museum, this is Brian Watts, KMO-TV News.
It's time to take a look at our weekend weather. And with that, we go to Melinda Strathman in the KMO Weather Center.
Happy Thursday, Kearney. We've got a cool, wet weekend ahead with temperatures in the upper 30s and the lower 40s. Rain is likely on Friday, and there's a rain-snow mix on Saturday. Sunday, partly cloudy in the morning, but then clearing later in the day. So get out and enjoy that beautiful weather today because we've got a big change coming this weekend. From the KMO-TV Weather Center, I'm Melinda Strathman. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Melinda. Be sure to join us here in the KMO Newsroom every Thursday at 6:30 for your weekly news recap, hourly on 102.7 FM KPGZ, and for breaking news as it happens on our website at 1027carneymo.com. On behalf of all of us here at KPGZ and KMO TV, have a great weekend.